Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the Matinee Review, where two friends talk everything entertainment, such as movies, animated features, television shows, video games, cartoons, and comic books. I am Justin.
I am Akili.
How's it going, man?
It is going pretty well. Week was good. Work wasn't too crazy. And I'm once again excited to be here with you and do this thing. How are you?
I'm good. Not too terrible. Had a incident with somebody looking down our driveway the other day, and yeah, that was fun.
Like a admiring the house or the scenery or the shrubbery or
admiring whatever the hell he wanted to admire.
Oh my!
Had the guy who lives up front come down and say, "Hey, did you see the guy at the driveway, man?" And I'm like, "What? Excuse me?" So I go outside and he's like, "Yeah, he was just staring down the driveway and everything." I'm okay, so let's go find him. Pulled up a video camera from the neighbors across the street, and the guy looked all kinds of messed up. I took a drive around the block, saw him sprawled out on the curb, leaning up against a power box, and went, "This guy looks a little hinky. I think I'm going to call somebody." So I did. They checked him out. Didn't have any warrants or anything like that, so they told him, "Hey, if you're back in this area in 24 hours, we'll be able to arrest you for trespassing." I'm like, sweet. What happens at 25? So...
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
That's staring down random driveways. That's how people get shot.
Yeah, well, this, I guess, same guy was supposedly seen looking around the house at the corner a couple days ago. And we told the cops that and everything. And they're like, "Oh, well, there's nothing we can do about that." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, I'm sure there's things you can do.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times. It's a good time to try to get sponsored by like a home security firm or something.
Right.
Hey, if you're out there listening, we'll plug you if you can hook my buddy up with some cameras or something. We don't need people staring down anyone's driveway. So I'm glad it didn't escalate past that.
Yeah, well, I guess when the neighbor came out, he kind of gave the guy, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And the guy went, "Oh," and just turned and started walking.
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, that is definitely more exciting than anything I had going on this week. So I'm glad glad nothing worse than that happened.
Me too.
I will say I did have a bit of a sad day this week. If I could throw it out there before we get into the news.
Go right ahead.
I did lose. Well, not just me, but I think the music world lost a really great drummer. One of my drumming heroes, Mr. Joey Jordison. He passed away at age 46. Died in his sleep. Pretty terrible. Took it pretty hard. He was one of my drumming heroes. I remember when I first started to play metal music, Metallica and Slipknot were the two of the main bands that really just started to put metal music on my radar. And Joey was... just the whole mystique of Slipknot in general, with the guy, the outfits and the mask and the music and this and that. And man, just at a time when I was like, oh, I don't think I'll ever play double bass drum or things like that. Like the way that he was able to put it into the music and just make it so tight and set, and Slipknot's music means an awful lot to me. And one of the main reasons that it does is because of Joey Jordison's drumming. And I was fortunate enough to see him a couple of times live and see him get strapped to the chair, and the platform goes up and he spins around and he's still just whipping out these fast fills and just doing his thing. And, I just want to just say, just rest in peace to Joey Jordison. There'll never be another drummer like you. And your music and legacy will live on. And yeah, I feel like I never met the man, but I feel like I lost kind of a mentor. I had some of his signature sticks. I never owned, but always wanted his signature snare. And I remember always wanted to kind of sound like him when I approach certain things. So just rest in peace to Joey Jordison. The music world lost a really good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that one, man. You don't get to meet them, but they still have an effect on you, whether it's through inspiration or getting you through bad times through music or movies or whatever it is. And yeah, when you lose somebody that's a big portion of your life, it sucks. So yeah, I get it. Sucks, man. Sorry.
I definitely have my next tattoo idea. So everybody in Slipknot, like the original members, I mean, even now it's their thing, but everybody was assigned a number, numbers 1 through 9, and Joey's number was number 1. So I'm going to get on their original jumpsuits, they had like this kind of blocky look, and so it's a number 1 with just a big circle around it.
Right.
And where I'm going to put it on my arm is where it would sit on the jumpsuit. So I'm definitely going to get that.
Take it.
So R.I.P. Joey. I'm going to miss you, buddy.
Yes. Like you said, legacy will live on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool,
It's
man.
one of the things you still get to go back and listen to his work. So.
And I did. I did and do still.
Right.
So awesome.
Yeah. I think we should probably get into the news for these folks.
The news. Let's get into the news.
Have you heard?
Breaking
Recently.
story. Fresh off the wire.
What's the newspaper, kids?
I love that.
Extra! Read all about it!
It would be cool to be a kid to stand on a box and just yell out the newspaper kind of stuff. Always thought that, read all about it. The Yankees win again. Like, yeah, kid, we know. Fucking just give me the paper.
Wall Street exec chokes on a pretzel. Read all about it.
Your news stories are much better than mine. That's cool.
Yeah, combining a Wall Street exec with, President Bush. Man almost died because of a pretzel.
What was it? Put down the chips, sir. The Robin Williams thing. Gilligan's down. He died because of fucking snack food.
Yeah.
The dog. What do you say? The dogs didn't even care. They were licking him for the salt.
Good times. That's the guy who that affected me. So.
Sure. Yeah, man.
All right. First bit of news. Anybody who plays the Marvel Avengers game.
I do. I should say we do.
We do, yeah. It's a game. It's fun. It has its moments, and then after a while, you're doing the exact same thing over and over again. So it hopefully they will do better with the Black Panther add-on that they're going to be bringing on August 17th.
I definitely bought it when it first came out. It's like most other people did, and then as I have an older Xbox One, so my hard drive space is very limited. So I know that when it first got announced that there was going to be Wakanda expansion starring Black Panther, I uninstalled it, and I was not going to reinstall it until that came out. So I was juiced to see that there is a date, and it's like, all right, good. I can wrap some other stuff up, because when that comes out, I'm going to be diving deep into that. The Black Panther War for Wakanda. Saw the little YouTube preview clip. Pretty good. Pretty excited for it.
Yeah, looks cool. I'm interested to see the variations of armor and outfits that
I am
they
too.
have. Yeah.
I like the part in the trailer is like, vibranium doesn't belong to you. No, it does not belong to me. It belongs to Wakanda. It's like, yes. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. Bombay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
They also just released the Thor outfit from Infinity War.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'll be having to get that.
Dig it.
I'm disappointed they didn't pull off a fat Thor for the DLC or the skin. I mean, just do it. Just add a gut.
Well, yeah, because he's got that cool. He's got that cool beard too. Yeah. I can dig it.
That would have been awesome. Fat Thor running around.
Do it, y'all. Fat Thor.
Just
come on.
Just whatever the physics have to be for that gut to bounce a little bit. And then the rest of him still freaking, yoked, and then he's just got a big old beard and some braided hairdo, and yeah, do it, and give him Stormbreaker.
Just make like the gut part of the armor. Just extend the little belly version of the armor, and then you're not really so much changing the actual mechanics on the character, and you just give him like a almost like a fat suit but armor, and then you just boop, pop that on there, and it's just like, oh. Look at that. Fat Thor.
Make the gut a power move. Just like bash a freaking big robot with his gut.
Hey, man, as someone who used to have kind of a gut, it can be a power move.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Suicide Squad. David Ayer was talking about his original cut of the movie.
Man, he said an awful lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm not reading all of it. I cannot read all of it.
Yeah.
I can't. That's that. We don't have time for that, folks. I know that everybody's like going, tell us more, detail. I know you just want to hear us talk. I get it. I like hearing me talk too. But
Well, when your voices are as smooth and as professional as ours, you want to soak it all in. Soak it all in.
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Let's see.
This is only my radio voice. When people really know what I talk like, that'd be pretty terrible.
That's right. I go through all of my voices. So you get to hear them all, folks. Don't worry. I'm not going to hide me from you. You will hear me.
Not at all.
Yes.
No.
But he said that it was going to be intricate and emotional with not a single radio song. So that right there off the bat, I'm intrigued. He said, I put my life into Suicide Squad. I made something amazing. My cut is intricate and emotional journey with some bad people who are shit on and discarded. A theme that resonates in my soul. Kind of depressing, but okay. The studio cut is not my movie. Read that again, so I will. The studio cut is not my movie. And my cut is not the 10-week director's cut. It's a fully mature edit by Lee Smith, standing on the incredible work by John Gilroy. He said it's all Stephen Price's brilliant score, with not a single radio song in the whole thing. It has traditional character arcs, amazing performances, a solid third act resolution. A handful of people have seen it. I've never told my side of the story and never will. I'm old school like that. So I kept my mouth shut and took the tsunami of sometimes shocking personal criticism.
In fact, the end of Ayer's letter, he just said he's proud of James and supports WB and him through the franchise is getting the legs it needs.
That's right.
Oh my God. Did I just do an awesome segue?
You did just do an awesome
Whoa,
segue. Yeah.
Look at that. Woo. I'm on it today.
That's right.
We're on it today. This is going to be good. Flash news.
That was my Flash sound effect. He just ran by. He ran by real fast. He's a faster runner.
Did he run by or did he kind of ice skate by?
He pointed his fingers like Peter Pan and ran. Slid. He slipped on a banana peel while pointing his fingers, and every single step he took, every move he makes, he slipped on a banana peel. I don't know what to say.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But
I think you said it, man.
I said it.
Flash news. Injuries. What's going on here, Justice? What happened?
Well, as my phone just turns off on me, and I'll turn it back on, here it is. There was a tweet from the Flash Film News, at Flash Film News. It says, breaking, paramedics rushed to the set of the Flash movie. A camera operator collided into the Batman stunt double and went under the bicycle, or a batcycle. Production has halted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I do like some of these headlines. I was looking at a couple of them. One headline was just like, injury, and this is pure clickbait. This is how people get their look, because here's one headline for it. Injury on the Flash set halts filming for the movie. Batman involved. Like, why would
What's going on here?
This is great. So, in that little article, it's like, Batman involved. You know, it's one of those things where you're trying to read through, you're like, oh, what happened to Batman? It's like, the little we do know makes it sound like Batman was somehow involved. And whatever happened, okay, not exactly Batman, but the Batmobile. And it's like, well, you jackass, son of a bitch.
Not even the Batmobile, it's the Batcycle.
Right.
Get your facts straight, people!
That's my fault.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Batcycle. But what this did
I said bicycle.
lead me down was what this did lead me down was it led me down the road of I got to see the YouTube clip that they put up of what the Batcycle looks like. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like
cool.
It almost looks like they said, how would we do the exact same thing that they did for the Dark Knight trilogy with our Batmobile? Mm-hmm. How would we make a piece of the Batmobile turn into the Batcycle? Then again, it just could be that he's like, I just want my stuff to match. Could be that too.
Yeah.
But it looks cool.
So,
it looks very long. Yeah. Looks very impractical when it comes to turning. But, comic books.
Yeah, so Flash movie on hold until further notice. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Until they give that guy his severance.
Hopefully everybody's okay,
yes.
and that they will be a little more, I guess, careful and moving forward, things happen on movie sets. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people involved. So every once in a while, there are accidents. You just hope it's nothing like Twilight Zone level where somebody dies, and
Right.
glad it's just an injury that's not fatal. So be careful, everybody. Be careful, Hollywood. Be careful. Move out of the way when the bat cycle's coming. How about that? Get out of Batman's way.
That's right. So, Predator 5. Yes, that's right, folks. Predator 5 is getting a
Yeah,
title.
you heard it. Predator 5. Predator part. There's another Predator. But from everything that I've read, this one might be okay.
Might be. I enjoyed Predators. And then they brought out the other one with the fully CGI Predator and his Predator dogs. And then one of them gets shot in the head and becomes their friend.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that movie?
I don't even think I've seen that one, because I saw like the trailers for that and everything, and I went, nope, not going to contribute to this idea. They're not going to see a cent of my money, and they haven't. So because I was against it fully.
I bought it. I went through a phase, where you see that you have certain movies that have other movies that are connected to them, and then you know that the movie's not good, that you really didn't enjoy it, but because you have this weird thing in your brain that's wrong with you, that it makes you go, I still need it because it's a part of the set. I went through that phase. Luckily, I don't know, I must have hit my head at some point and it just kind of shook everything back in place, and I don't do that anymore. But yeah, I bought it. I enjoyed the practical stuff. I enjoyed the suit, everything that would possibly reminded me of the first and second movie. Even Predators. I enjoyed Predators. But once you got to the point where there was a 10-foot CGI Predator beast thing that was just going around and killing other predators and killing everybody, and it was dumb. Dumb. That was dumb. So, next time, just do everything that made the Predator movies cool and use practical effects. If they want to do a Gumby movie, then go ahead, do that fully CGI. You'll do just fine. Nobody will know the difference. But
You mean you don't want to see Eddie Murphy walking around in a big Gumby suit?
I want to see that movie. I love that clip. That was great. If he wants to do an hour and a half of that,
I think we're showing our age with that thing. I don't know if
that's all right. That's all right.
That's an old clip.
Yep.
Do yourselves a favor. Best of Saturday Night Live, Eddie Murphy. Pick that up. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, I can't even find a DVD of that.
I have a DVD of that.
You don't have a DVD of that.
I do. It's old. It's like it's that old DVD. It's probably still grainy, all the shit. But yeah, I own.
I have the video cassette. I don't have the DVD.
Nice. Yeah, man, it's there. But
DVD.
Predator 5 apparently a title.
Yes, they're calling it Skull.
Skull.
So
here I read a thing that basically said even Skull might be a working title, because they announced Skull, and then people on the internet, as people on the internet will tend to do, kind of went, Skull? I don't really know about that.
People are complaining on the internet?
Who'd have thought, right?
Right.
So Skull or Skulls, but Dan Trachtenberg, director, posted up on, I think it was Instagram, the working title on set is called Valencia, but has kind of said like, Skull appears to be the working title for now. I think they should just go on ahead and run with it. I think it's really good. If you're thinking about kind of because the skulls, for those that have, if you've never seen the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, do yourself a favor, stop this right now, go watch Predator, and then, come back and, listen to us again, because Predator is just that good.
And Predator 2. Everybody shits on Predator 2. I enjoyed Predator 2. It is such a wacky concept of 1997 at Los Angeles. Yeah. The first Predator is awesome. Second Predator is great. Then they did some other things with movies, and, As
Well,
they
I bring
do.
up the first Predator because, well, first, it's awesome.
Yes.
But John Davis, he said, questions over aside, Davis also teased in the Collider interview that the movie will be just as good as the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, if not better. This time, the movie will center on a female hero, with Davis saying that the story goes back to what made original Predator movie work. It's the ingenuity of a human being who won't give up, who's able to observe and interpret, basically being able to beat a stronger, more powerful, well-armed force. Which I'm like, spoilers, you already said she's going to win. But I think so now we're going to have a female character taking on Predator.
Now, I wonder if this one will lead, because it would be really cool if they did this. In the comic books, they even had some novels where there was a human female who ended up being brought on by the Predators to be a hunter. And she got a whole Predator outfit and everything. She was a human being living amongst the Predators.
Well, you kind of remember they did a little small thing like that in AVP.
Yeah,
where,
I mean,
they
sure.
give her the, she's running with one of them, and they give her, they land, they give her the spear, and it's just like they give her the mark,
right?
Like, you're one of us, and so
yeah,
they kind of tease that a little bit,
right? I'm wondering if they're gonna touch on that a little bit more and expand on that and kind of go with more of the comic accurate version of it, because supposedly this is supposed to take place before did you say it was supposed to take place before the first Predator?
This is supposed to take place, from what I read, this is supposed to take place before the original Predator.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you can have that story where she fights, she wins, and you have, the other Predators either come down or they were watching the entire time and said, well, that was impressive. Here.
Sure.
Come with us. We've got some fun. Here, take this. Put this on. We're going to teach you a couple of things.
Clearly, you're the dominant species on this planet.
Right, right.
Clearly.
So, that'd be cool. And then after that, you could have another movie that takes place, after maybe it could connect into Predators, right? Where then she goes to that planet to hunt these other Predators that are hunting all these other people that they're bringing onto the planet, because she found out that these guys are just kind of the more dominant ones. Anyways.
Skull.
Yeah.
I think they should keep that working tight. If that's the official, hopefully, I like it.
Yeah.
I dig it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool homage to the main trophy that the Predator takes.
Absolutely.
So, you have that whole scene where he takes it, cleans it. It's all. I think it's awesome.
Down from like the first one down to the second one too, when he puts it on the rack. And it's got all those other skulls around it, and you can see the alien skull and what looks like.
Which apparently that's what led to Alien vs. Predators. And somebody went, ooh, xenomorph. Let's see how that would play out, and we did. So.
Perfect. Put it right on, and it'll be seamless. So moving on then.
Moving right along. This was something that I didn't know anything about, so I'm excited to hear you tell me this tale about a Die Hard prequel.
Yes, the Die Hard prequel has officially died at Disney. It's a lot of D's. The Die Hard sequel has officially died at Disney. Died at Disney. Died at Disney. Died. Sounds like it could be a song.
So what do you know? What do you know about this prequel and how it came to fruition and didn't come to fruition? What happened?
Well, apparently it was supposed to take place in 1979 and in the present at the same time. It was going to be John McClane going to Japan to be honored for his actions at Nakatomi Plaza.
What?
And then it would also be, I guess, doing flashbacks of him in 1979 as a young cop. And, I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen. There's nothing else I can say. I'm glad it didn't happen, because it just doesn't seem like it is at all necessary. Why? If they were going to do a prequel, then they were going to make it so that way something would happen, so that way he would have to survive a horrible situation that lasts 6 hours but within the time frame of a movie, and then he gets out and he's all bloody, and they'll probably explain how he got that scar on his shoulder or whatever the fuck it would have been, and who cares? I think that the fact that he was just some, random cop from New York who then gets thrown into a situation and he gets his ass handed to him, but he still keeps going, makes it more of a movie than it would be had it been just that this is what he always goes through. He's been going through this since 1979, fresh out of the academy. Boy, this guy gets into a situation. No, I'm good. So glad it didn't happen.
Yeah. I'm just reading a little thing right now. Producer Lorenzo D. Bonaventura,
great name,
says what was interesting about our idea was it allowed you the ability to meet the young John McClane and use Bruce. So it was really interesting in that way. So you sort of got to see both versions of him, a bit like The Godfather Part 2, which, listen, do not compare Die Hard to The Godfather Part 2. Don't do it. But like you said, why do we need that? Why do we need that? I think one of the best things that people love about Die Hard, one, it's just a well shot, very fun film. And number two, see the idea of just John McClane as this regular cop who's just put in this unique situation and prevails. I mean, he's running around barefoot half the time.
Mm-hmm.
They throw in that great joke. He's like, billion terrorists in the world. I had to kill the one with feet smaller than my sister.
Right.
Because he's running around barefoot the whole time. I've always said this. I think Die Hard is a much better series if it's 2 films. The first Die Hard, then you go right to Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yes.
It's great because you catch up with John years later, and it goes right to, the next villain is the brother of Hans Gruber.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just I think it's a natural jump from one to the next. I don't, not knocking Die Hard 2 was very well cast, but meh.
You mean it happened on Christmas again? This time at an airport? I'll knock it a little.
You got the dude from NYPD Blue basically playing the dude from NYPD Blue.
Giving him a parking ticket.
Oh, okay. I don't know how you guys do everything on the West Coast, but over here, it's like, but bruh, we're all supposed to be cops. Like, didn't you read what I did? Oh, yeah, I know you. I read about the whole Nakatomi thing. Like, yeah, great. So what are we talking about? So.
You and showing off with your guns.
Yeah.
Big show off.
I'm glad that Hollywood went in the right direction and Disney made a good decision. We don't need a Die Hard 6. Let Die Hard go away and die. Because, do we even need to talk about 4 and 5 ever?
Say again? I'm sorry.
Nope. Moving on. No, we don't.
Just thought I heard you say something about 4 and 5, and I was like, no, he couldn't have mentioned those.
Kind of, but we don't need to. That's as much as we can. Live free or die hard, and it's a good day. And it's a good day to die hard. Oh Jesus, yeah, we can stop.
Once he lost his receding hairline, once he shaved his head, he gained superpowers, and I'm good. I don't need it.
He's got the. Speaking to turn him into a superhero, he's got the. It's right there in the trailer. He's got the one scene. It's like, did you just kill a helicopter with a car? And it's just like, yeah, yep. He did. What the fuck, really? And hey, you know what? Here's one thing. I don't understand why people shit on the Die Hards for going that route, but people are praising the John Wicks when it's going the exact same route. Where I'm just like, okay, so they're turning him into a superhero. Y'all love Keanu Reeves, and we'll still see these John Wicks, and there's going to be 2 more sequels. They're gonna make like 7 of these John Wick movies.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why?
Maybe they'll try and compete with the Fast and Furious franchise, and then.
Oh my god. There's going to be 10 of those films, and the 10th one is going to be split into 2.
Did you know there's already there's an animated show on Netflix?
We should move on. I don't want to get angry this morning. I really don't. Cool story, bro. How about that? Like, I don't want to.
I think it's on its like second season or third season.
Let's move on to let's move on to something that's super awesome that you sent me this morning that I thought was really cool.
So anybody out there who is putting things out on YouTube and showing your work, whether it be animation through CGI, acting, voiceover work, stunt work, makeup effects, anything like that. Anything that
video game.
Right. If you feel that you're just wanting to show off and it's never going to go anywhere, don't think that. because it could go somewhere. Recently, a YouTuber did a deepfake of the final episode of Mandalorian. Spoilers, folks, if you haven't watched Mandalorian, I'm going to tell you what happens in the final episode. And if you haven't found out what happened in the final episode of Mandalorian by now, bravo. So yes, a guy did a deepfake of Luke Skywalker and did a better version of what Disney Plus put out. And it definitely got its rounds. And Lucasfilm hired the kid. And I say kid, I don't know, the guy could be older than me, but, they saw his work and they hired him. And I think they realized, okay, we need to stop thinking we can do all of this on our own, because obviously somebody at home did a better version than we did. And it wasn't even getting paid to do it. Decided, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it look better. And instead of saying, hey, cease and desist and blah, 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 you want a job? So, good on you, Lucasfilm. I dig that.
YouTuber is Shamook, and his deepfake for The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker has gotten nearly 2 million views. Right. And yeah, there was a representative for Lucasfilm said basically Industrial Light and Magic is always on the lookout for talented artists, and have in fact hired the artist that goes by the online persona Shamook. Over the past several years, ILM has been investing in both machine learning and AI as a means to produce compelling visual effects work, and it's been terrific to see momentum building in this space as the technology advances. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
If you have, just go for it. Go for it. If you're like Justin said, if you have something out there and you're like, I don't know if this is ever going to go anywhere, tell you what, just go for it, put it up, and you might land yourself a job.
Right. Exactly. And Mr. Shamook had something to say about it as well.
Oh, do tell.
He said, as some of you may already know, I joined ILM Lucasfilm a few months ago and haven't had the time to work on any new YouTube content. Now I've settled into my job, uploads should start increasing again. They'll still be slow, but hopefully not months apart. So he's still going to do his YouTubing, but
yeah. I mean,
at this point, he got hired, so...
Yeah, he did, if you're also looking for some more of his work, apparently he did something for The Irishman as well, where he does Robert De Niro and cleans that up. And yeah,
oh, wow.
It's I'm looking at it right now on silent, and I haven't seen The Irishman yet, but just looking at the side-by-side, oh yeah, his deepfake is much better than the Netflix one. It's
as Darth Vader would say, impressive.
Most impressive. So, good on him. I hope that Warner Brothers is paying attention.
Yes, because, let's mention this real quick.
Yeah, please. Can we?
Yeah, real quick. There was also a gentleman who made his own Batman game demo. And when I say Batman game demo, and I mean, when I say it, it looked better than the Arkham games. It was a full-on 1989 Michael Keaton, Tim Burton style Batman game. And it looks beautiful.
I mean...
The detail.
I'm trying to find the gentleman's name. But while I look for that, and I'll get in a minute. For someone who's, watched that first Batman with Michael Keaton over and over and over again, at this point I could probably recite the entire movie just off the top of my head. So, you know what the sets look like. You know what everything looks like. The gentleman's name, Osmani Gomez, pretty much by himself took the Arkham Knight video game kind of template and then just inserted Batman 89 into it. So as good as that game looks, for anyone listening, do yourself a favor, check it out. From the way the Batcave looks, to the road to Gotham City, to entering Gotham City, Gotham Square, the way the Monarch Theater looks. He goes inside the museum. He goes inside the museum after Joker's already been in there and dismantled it, and you can see, Joker was here and the different paints that they put on the wall, and you just wonder if this guy can do this by himself. If he had a team and there was a team working on this, my God, this would be a phenomenal game, as good as the Arkham Knights one. I mean, good as the Arkham series and all that are. And I think one of the main reasons they just shut it down right away and just tried to take it off. Well, two reasons. One, they do have the Gotham Knights game coming out, so they want max attention on that. And two, because again, they didn't do it, and so it's one of those like, wait, this isn't ours, take it down. But I say, cut the dude a check, Or bring him on
Hire
the team.
him.
Yeah, bring him on the team.
Hire him and then put out an 89 Batman game. That would, you could do the first movie as a full-on storyline with all the expanded side quests and everything that you can add on to the story and just kind of broaden it a little bit. And then your first DLC could be the second movie. And then you can go into what maybe, if you want, maybe bring Tim Burton in and say, what would you have done with the Riddler? What would you have done with, you could even have Billy D. Williams come back and do the voice of Two-Face, and then you can have in the video game your Billy D. Williams Two-Face.
Do it.
Work with the people that are doing the comic, and then you can kind of create your side stories there. I mean, right off bat, just like with the Arkham series, you have these side missions and these moments where Batman's doing all this detective work. You could have it basically where, you have this guy, Joker, come out of nowhere, and you can see Batman having to investigate these things. All the little cutscenes that you don't see.
All that.
Yeah, all the little cutscenes that you don't see in the movie where Batman's just doing his legwork. And, in the meantime, it's like, oh, there's a mugging. There, 'cause that's one of the good things about the Arkham game is, you have these big world Gotham problems that Batman's solving. But then in middle of all that, it's like, oh, hey, there's a mugging. They kidnapped a firefighter. You got to save him. So he's just doing Batman shit while he's doing like big deal Batman shit. He's just doing regular patrol work. So yeah, just like Lucasfilm did with this young man, I think that Asmani Gomez should be worked with Warner Brothers on a Batman 89 game.
Absolutely. And then that should lead us into our last bit of news for the day. We have some Black Widow drama, folks.
Lord.
There's a bit of a lawsuit happening.
This story.
I'm going to pass this over to somebody who has been really diving into all of this. Akili, what is going on, man?
Scarlett Johansson has filed a lawsuit against Disney because she apparently signed a contract with Disney that basically said that her movie, Black Widow, and the money that she gets from it would be, the movie was going to be a theater exclusive. And apparently she was told that, they wouldn't be releasing it on the streaming service. So when they decided to release the movie in theaters and on the streaming service at the same time, apparently she feels like Disney breached their contract. And so she has filed a lawsuit against Disney. She wants her money. That's basically the meat and potatoes of it. And the lawsuit, I'm trying to find where there's wording in the lawsuit. I'm trying to find the. Oh God! Now Emma Stone is reportedly weighing her options after Scarlett Johansson. Oh wow! So now this thing is okay. This thing is getting so nuts. Here we go.
Wait a minute. What do you mean Emma Stone's weighing her options about what?
I'll look at that story as I find this. I just want to find
because of maybe Disney Plus and doing Cruella. That's the only thing I could think of. Isn't that her in Cruella?
Possibly.
Oh my God.
So basically, in the lawsuit, they were basically saying how Disney knew all along that they were going to release this on their streaming services when they could have easily waited for the theater market, which they knew was going to recover. Instead, they went behind Scarlett's back and basically released their movie on their streaming services, breaching their contract. Scarlett's been hurt financially, and this just shows that Disney doesn't really care about a star that's given the last 10 some odd years of her life into a character. Disney came back and basically said this lawsuit has no merit. So that's what's going on. I just don't understand this lawsuit. I personally just don't.
Right. Well, I know it's going to seem like I'm playing devil's advocate here, but
not at all.
I mean, if we're talking contracts, the contract, I'm sure the original contract was signed before 2019 because they had to have started at least filming in 2018, 2019, probably 2019, the beginning of it at some point. And then they were going to release it, what was it, March?
It was supposed to be released in May 2020.
Okay, May 2020 was their original release date. So when she signed the contract, I don't think she ever had in mind, hey, we're going to have a global pandemic. So at that point, when you're making money off of back end and she signs a contract and I'm going to be making a certain percentage off of ticket sales, I would think, especially since, Disney Plus has done it like, okay, you have your option for these movies. You can either go to the theater and spend anywhere from $8.25 to $25 per ticket. So if you've signed something for a back end deal, I would think that if you're counting your overall ticket sales and everything off of not only the theater but off of Disney Plus as well, that should be included. There shouldn't be, hey, sorry, you didn't sign anything that said that you wanted stuff off of streaming as well. Because I'm sure at that point she was thinking it's not going to be streaming until at least they've seen it in the theaters and it's been out and people have seen it. That movie was going to at least the bare minimum make 850 to 900 million, if not cross the $1 billion mark. What Marvel movie hasn't crossed the $1 billion mark since the first Avengers? I mean, I can't really think of one unless I'm wrong.
Right.
If I'm wrong, people write in, let me know. But
Yeah, sure. Let us both know.
when it comes to that, unless she signed something this year saying that, okay, we're gonna be putting it out in theaters, and you're still gonna get back end off of it. It just doesn't seem like, to me it sounds like they signed a contract, or she signed a contract. As I burp, excuse me. She signed a contract before this whole pandemic shit went down. And then they said, okay, because of the fact that you didn't sign anything about streaming, you're not going to get the streaming money. That doesn't sound right to me if that's the case. Also, I don't think that she would just go, hey, Disney Plus did pretty well. Honey, call my lawyer, and just put out a lawsuit and go, I hope that they never work with me again. I want to burn all bridges. It just sounds like she just kind of went, maybe that might have been the last resort. Okay, you're not going to pay me? Fine. And, she's been in the movies since Iron Man 2. I know she was a side character and she was a supporting character, but she's still been in the movies since Iron Man 2.
Right.
She's been doing it for a while. And if she's made $20 million since then, and Robert Downey Jr.'s made $200 million pretty much since then, that's a big difference.
I don't know how much she's made total for all her appearances. I know that Disney disclosed that they gave her $20 million for Black
Is that
Widow.
What they said for Black Widow? It was $20 million, or was it $20 million to date?
Yeah. Disney issued a scathing response, said, saying it had the lawsuit has no merit whatsoever, disclosing the fact she had already been paid $20 million for Black Widow. And then Johansson's agent shot back for a direct attack on her character, because now they believe that they are trying to make Scarlett seem like she is greedy when she's just saying no. She just kind of what she thinks is entitled. And again, it's just another one of those things where, like, $20
million for one movie.
I guess she's losing out on, like, I guess they according to the report, she lost about $50 million because of the streaming to this, streaming this, that, and the third, because she doesn't get that money. If they didn't let her renegotiate her contract, that's another thing.
Right.
That could be where a lot of this is coming from. But, because I'll tell you what the Emma Stone thing, they're just saying that Emma Stone is now weighing her options, and then Emily Blunt is now watching the Jungle Cruise numbers closely. And it's like, okay, listen, if I'm Disney, I'm letting people maybe renegotiate their contract, or it's like, okay, when this movie comes out, yeah, we'll give you some money on the back end. But, like, why did everybody think their movies were going to do great in theaters in a time when no one is going to the movie theaters? Why didn't they see that coming and go, like, okay, well, I signed this contract, maybe I can renegotiate, but I should be prepared to take a hit, because you know what? A lot of people took hit during the pandemic. And here's the thing. A lot of people that took hits during the pandemic, going to be real hard to recover.
Right. I mean, if they're worried about, the fact that they've lost millions of dollars when they still have millions upon millions of dollars in their bank account, I get that aspect. But, The only reason I'm playing devil's advocate in this case is if both, Emily Blunt and all of them have signed a contract, whether it was before the pandemic or during the pandemic, that said that they were going to get a certain percentage off of back end, and it didn't mention anywhere about streaming, then that right there just seems like it's like, well, sorry, we didn't mention, you didn't sign anything about streaming, so you don't get the streaming money. You just said back end from ticket sales, and to say that the streaming is not a new version of ticket sales, that right there is a bit of bullshit. And until you're able to literally rent it for $5.99 or $7.99, whatever it would be when you're able to rent it and or buy it on Blu-ray and stuff, all of that is ticket sales.
Right.
You can't say that, it's just because it's streaming that that's not ticket sales. It's like, well, yeah, it is. Just because I get to watch it as many times as I want to, it's because I paid that certain amount, but I still don't own it. I still don't, it's still not available to be purchased individually by whoever the fuck, and then they get to have it at home forever. Until then, that's ticket sales. So if they signed a contract saying it's for back end and there was no mention of streaming, and then they said, okay, now we're streaming it and you're not getting that money, that's a bit hinky. But if they renegotiated their contracts and it mentioned something about them not being able to get the streaming money, and now that the streaming's doing really frickin' well, they're going, oh, well, I want that money too. Well, then that's a bit of bullshit. So I don't know. I mean, because I don't know the whole story, I don't know exactly what's going on, what their contracts were, what they all, did during the pandemic, and what happened, when I say they all, I mean Disney, what they did and what they decided to do and what they changed. I don't know. So I can't really comment other than saying if she was supposed to get her money and they kind of found a way, got a bit of a loophole to not give her all of her money, that's some bullshit. But if she's just complaining about the fact that because of the fact that streaming's doing well and that she didn't have a contract signed about streaming and she wants some of that money now when people are about to get evicted from their homes, then that's some bullshit. So that's my 2 cents on the matter.
Well, I would say this. Why not, instead of a lawsuit, right? Because Disney's saying that she was going to be involved in future projects going forward. So if you're feeling that kind of way, now that okay, blah, 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 why not just, you can make that money continuing to be involved with Disney going forward. Because what Disney's going to do, if anything, they're going to settle with Scarlett and then say, by the way, so long and thanks for all the fish. Because now we know how you're going to come at us. If you're going to sue us, then great. What we're going to do is we're going to take Miss Florence Pugh. We're going to go ahead and put the Black Widow title on her, start using her likeness, and then thank you, Scarlett. Thank you. We don't need you to be executive producer or anything else. We don't need you to, we're good. Thank you.
I think that's their, goal anyways, but because of this lawsuit, there's a good chance that, like you said, they just might just go, we're done with you, and just cut ties completely.
I just think that a lawsuit is one of the things that, just gets you out of future work with one of the biggest money-making entities out there.
I mean, this is all baffling to me because of the fact that she has to sue Disney, or she's come to the point where she is suing Disney.
Sure.
Either she's petty or she's gotten to that point where she's like, no, this is not the contract that I signed, and I have to take these next steps the same way that anybody would take the next steps if you signed a contract and then you got kind of screwed out of your money.
I just think I don't understand why you wouldn't put streaming in your contract from the gate. If you're going to if you're going to have anybody pay for anything that I'm in, that my likeness, you're calling me Black Widow, I want any money from that going forward. Why would you just say, nope, just theater? I just don't understand the move. Maybe that's what baffles me.
That's the thing. It's just because we don't know. We don't know what the contract was.
Right.
Until she literally makes that contract public, I can't say that she's being petty or she's just doing what she should be doing because of the contract that she signed. So I don't know. I can't be either or. I can have opinions right now, and then I can have opinions further down the line. I'm not going to take sides. I'm just going to say
we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah.
But it off bat, it looks like a bad move. Like the thing that the first, like what you sent me, the first original thing that you sent me, just to put that, Scarlett was hurt financially, this, that, and the third. Now, as the story develops, again, maybe that was just some words that the people in the article used, but just that very first article that you sent me that I read, it definitely made it look like, oh, hey, so I made $20 million off this movie. Y'all owe me like $40 more million because of the streaming service that I didn't think to put in my contract. That's what it seemed like off bat. But I am for people. You should get paid for doing a job. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll pay attention to this story.
Yeah, when we get more detail, I'll have more of an opinion. But
I will definitely say this: if you like Scarlett involved with Marvel, get ready to not really see her because Disney's not going to play that.
No, I mean, if they were planning on bringing her back somehow in the future by, it just being alternate timeline or robot or whatever it may be, this very well could have thrown a bit of a wrench into the spokes.
I think so.
Yeah.
But like you, I'm for if it turns out, and then here's the sad thing. What do we do if it turns out, oh yeah, Disney is just screwing all these people? Then it's like, well, shit. We'll see, Justin.
I don't know. I don't know. But we'll find out. Possibly.
We'll find out for sure.
Or somebody's just going to get paid, and that's it.
I
don't know.
That's probably Disney's best play. Settle out of court and then say thanks for all the fish.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So, I think that's the news.
That is the news.
The news. That was all the news.
Why don't we get into our next subject then?
Masters of the Universe.
Controversy of the week. Or it could be, I don't know. More possible drama, I say.
Controversy. What do you mean? What's the scuttlebutt? I didn't heard this.
Well, let's first start off with Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Okay.
A new show, continuation of the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
I mean, personally, I never really watched the show when I was a kid. I believe I had a couple of the toys, didn't have a lot of them, so it wasn't really something that was ingrained in me. I mainly knew it from maybe when I was younger watching a couple of the cartoons, and then the Dolph Lundgren Master of the Universe movie came out. So that was my real introduction to He-Man. So when I watched this, I can honestly say I pretty much went in fresh. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was great. And I don't know, what was your take on it? Were you at all a fan of He-Man back in the day, or was it just something that, you knew existed?
I think I said this on one of the last ones. It's something that I knew existed. I knew some friends growing up that were fans. I personally was not. I think I owned a He-Man action figure just because, like I said, I think my grandmother might have bought me one because that's what was popular at the time.
Right.
But no, I only thing I remember is Skeletor's voice being like, see? Yeah, I'm going to get you, He-Man. I do remember that. Like, I remember sitting there watching this new one, I'm like, I don't remember Skeletor being this fucking guttural and visceral. Like, I remember it being, I thought his voice was a lot more high-pitched. So, yeah, I don't have, I wasn't a He-Man fan, and just never, even as I grew up, just the idea, like I never saw I think you said Dolph Lundgren was in the He-Man movie.
In the original movie, the movie that Canon
don't think I saw. Yeah, don't think I saw that.
Oh,
it was just never.
Do yourself a favor, and it's pretty bad. It's one of those really bad movies that it's good. So bad that it's good. I don't know other way of describing it. Oh
yeah, look at that. Dolph Lundgren definitely looked the part.
Yeah, everything looked cool. That stuff that they had in Eternia and Skeletor. Oh man, who played him again? He was great. He's always the bad guy. He's the bad guy in Dave, and
Frank Langella.
Frank Langella, man, he was great. The makeup looked
As soon as you
fucking...
said the bad guy and Dave, I was like, oh, I know that. Frank
Yeah,
Langella.
yeah. He was great. The makeup looked great. The costuming looked really cool. And then they go to Earth.
Courtney Cox is in that movie?
Yes, like I said, they go to Earth, and then Courtney Cox is working at some rib joint, and it was more like it looked more like a fast food rib joint, so KFC but ribs. They might have thrown in chicken there, so it just might have been like a fast food barbecue joint.
You mean like a Chantams?
Chantams, everybody. So there's this whole, we go to Earth and we're out of our element and it's so bad. But I digress.
I will do myself a favor. I will check that out. And
do it. It's fun. It's stupid.
Okay. If it's fun, it's stupid. Dude, it's fun. It's stupid.
It's also the reason why Superman 4 was as bad as it was. So Superman 4 was going to be a hell of a lot better and would have looked a hell of a lot better with the budget that they originally had. But then Canon came in and said, no, let's chop this up because we want to make a Spider-Man movie. And then it just failed and it killed Canon. So good job. Well done, Canon.
Wow. Well done.
Yeah.
But this cartoon here,
what did you think?
Quite enjoyable.
Right?
Quite enjoyable. Yeah. For a nice little, I could have watched a couple more episodes.
Yeah.
It was quite enjoyable. I thought that the animation was well done. I think they got some real great hitters to do some of these voices.
Oh, yeah.
I had only heard about Mark Hamill. I hadn't heard about Lena Headey at all. I hadn't heard about Sarah Michelle Gellar. So listened to some of the voices and I was like, oh, snap. I know some of these people. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then just the story in general, don't have to break this down episode by episode, but just the overall hit of like, man, so now magic is gone from this place and like almost machines have taken over. And here's a guy and, here's a young prince who thought he did something great. And then they go find him. They're like, oh, yeah, nah. Things got real jacked up when you left. He's like, but I saved the world. Didn't I? Like, nah.
Right.
hate to tell you, buddy. Yeah, I got really into the Orko character. I thought that was they made me care enough about Orko to where when it all goes bad, it's like, oh, well, God damn it.
Well, yeah, I mean, going a little bit of more detail about that, that character was always the, oh, you want this? You said these words? Well, then here you go. That's funny, right? I just did that. Like when he said all that talk, the episode I watched this morning, He-Man said, geez, all that talk about meteors, I could go ahead and eat one right now. And Orko goes, okay, and just all of a sudden puts a meteor on the table. And it was dumb. And his character was just like, oh, I'm there for magic. And I look at all this and even touch on that with the, it's like, I can give a little bit of light. And then it's raining on him. No, I'm sorry. Just, I don't know. I'm just not,
Puts the cat in a bubble.
Yeah, that type of stuff. It just...
Then the cringer can't breathe in the bubble.
Right. And then when they're able to... spoilers ahead, folks, again. But when they're able to flesh out his character and kind of dive deep into it, like when he says, as a kid, I heard Orko, but really it was... And then she stops and goes, Oracle. You were supposed to be Oracle. So Orko, I don't know if that was the original idea, but if that wasn't, and they decided that Orko sounded enough like Oracle, and that we're going to write this into the story, bravo. If that's Kevin Smith's or Mark Bernardin's or whatever writer on the writer team, bravo on that. Because again, I don't know a lot about the He-Man lore when it comes to the original cartoon or anything.
Right.
But I think if that is something that's new, that should be something that fans should not be upset about.
Sure.
Again, spoilers, him sacrificing himself in that last scene, he uses his powers and he's forming those like spells and rings, moving his hands, just being full on sorcerer. This little guy with this, big old, wizard hat, and he's got his little wizard cloak, and he's always that little guy in the sky just floating around being the comic relief, is suddenly the hero.
Yeah.
And I really dug that. I dug that a lot of those moments that they had throughout part one, that it was really this moment of heroism that you rarely, and I'm sure rarely, saw at all in the original show. These big epic moments, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I love that little bit of detail when it comes to Orko. It originally should have been, was named by his parents Oracle, but he could only pronounce the word the way a kid would, and just stuck with him and just called himself Orko.
Yeah.
Too cool.
I like, there were, we have that story arc through Evelyn where we had that whole thing.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I wasn't named Evelyn. I just put that at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There's like that whole thing. Like I got into just the nice little aspects of the show that I really just hit on. See, I have a couple notes. I'm like I said, we're not going to break it down episode by episode. I just wrote some kind of main things, like the whole, again, where magic is gone from the world, and so there's this whole worship the motherboard,
right?
Where machines have taken over, and and I think that's a theme we've seen before, and it's a theme that I really dig, where there's this thought of there isn't truly magic in the world. Like magic is really what's the Thor thing? We call it magic. Your people call it science.
Yeah. We come from a place where it's one and the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I really like that it was no, you have to bring, magic back to the world. There is true magic, and it is doing these amazing things. And I just really dug the theme that they set.
Yeah.
I liked you can definitely tell the Kevin Smith, Mark Bernardin writing, because you listen to their banter back and forth, and then you hear some of the banter between the characters. You're like, oh yeah, this is for sure some Kevin Smith writing. There's a Kevin Smith joke thrown in there, well, that got fishy there at the end. And they all look at him like, well, we're all thinking it. Those little moments I really dug. And again, I was blown away by just the cast they got. I mean, I think this was Kevin Smith going in his bag, just asking some people, hey, I'm working on this thing. You want to come with me? Because, I mean, the names on this, you have, of course, he has his daughter, Harley Quinn Smith. We mentioned Lena Headey, Mark Hamill, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Henry Rollins, Alicia Silverstone, Kevin Conroy, Phil Lamar, Justin Long, Jason Mewes, Tony Todd, Stephen Root, Deidre Bader, Dennis Haysbert, Kevin Michael Richardson. These are heavy hitters, and it's I think it definitely made every character just jump out a little bit more, just because it's oh wow, these are some great voice actors and actors in general.
Right.
So Justin Long playing Roboto, and he's got that whole thing. Well, you don't understand. I feel, so I'm not a machine. I'm a miracle. Just
dude. Okay. See that right there. When I was watching that, I was going, this has got to be Mark Bernardin. This has got to be Mark Bernardin. That line right there was so well done.
Indeed.
That whole death scene of a robot that I knew nothing about. I have nothing invested into any of these characters. And I will say, when that was happening and then he gave that final line and shut down, I was like,
right. Right. Someone's got
He-Man. This is He-Man, I'm supposed I'm watching He-Man, and now the robot died. So it was very well done. I don't know. All I can say about this entire show was not only was it well written, but the voice acting was so well done, like you said, that it completely pulled me in. And then adding on top of that, the soundtrack was fucking epic metal, just it just everything about that. I'm in. It just,
I like the two opening shots look like old school metal album covers are like, this is Gray Skull Mountain. You
Right.
saw that.
And-
It was
and even-
this is Gray Skull Castle Gray Skull. Then this is Snake Mountain. And like especially Skeletor's thing, I was like, that looks like a fucking heavy metal is what it reminded me of. Like that's a 70s album
Right.
cover right there, man. This is
And
really cool.
and even the style of the art when it comes to like you said, it's very the 70s metal album, very the well detailed heavy metal comic covers, but at the same time all the proportions of the people were done the same way as the toys.
Yes.
Like the legs were really kind of small and just kind of straight down and everything, and then the waist was tiny and then just big old top half and arms that look like they don't bend at the elbow at all. So it was, yeah, I really dug how they did that whole opening. Very well done. Very cool.
How do you keep Tila in the dark about who He-Man? How do you tell everybody else, but you don't just tell her?
I guess that was always the running secret, like, Superman never telling Lois that he's Clark Kent. And he's always around her. He's always making that joke, she's always going, well, thank goodness for Superman. And then he kind of gives that look at the screen and gives a little bit of that wink. It was that whole, thank God for He-Man. And Prince Adam's like, yes, thank God he was around, even though.
But Tila fought next to
Right.
He-Man. Like, they had to share a battle together. Lois Lane, no offense, she not putting on a suit and helping Superman
Right.
out.
Well,
but, I figure sharing, I'm just talking about like a character standpoint. Like, if you're putting yourself in, like, I would have been just as mad. Like, we've shared the field of battle together. The least you could do is be like, oh, by the way, so I'm actually
Right.
Adam, but.
Right. Well, again,
just on a humbug.
because I don't know the lore.
Yeah.
The her not knowing this was done the exact same way that the original was done, then Prince Adam would just look like He-Man, but he's wearing a white shirt and a vest, and he's really still buff, and you could see the muscles through the shirt and everything. And then when he becomes He-Man, he's wearing underwear and a man bra. I mean, I don't know what there was no difference. Same haircut, same face, same voice, same everything. But now he's wearing furry boots and chonies and fucking and he's got a sword with a breastplate bra strap thing. So there was no difference. But with this one, the new one, they had him being basically, it looked like a kid, giving that how would you ever believe that kid is really Captain Marvel or Shazam, excuse me, the original, because there's two different Captain Marvels. The DC version of Captain Marvel
Billy
that they now
Batson.
call Shazam. How would you ever think that kid could turn into him? So it's the same way with this new Masters of the Universe. Prince Adam just looks like a 19-year-old kid, and then when he gets the power of Grayskull, he all of a sudden looks like the Hulk, but not green, and he's just fucking huge and everything. So there's no way that she could really ever get that was him. But him not telling her, I don't know. I mean, it might just be.
If in a character like putting yourself into the show. Like I remember I was sitting there. It's like, well, just tell her. She deserves to. I felt like she deserved to know.
If she was
on her
a
side.
helpless character, then there would be that kind of a reason why I can't tell you, because if I were to tell you, then there's the possibility, because that you might get hurt because of it.
Right.
But she's definitely somebody who could defend herself. She's definitely somebody who can just go right there into the heart of battle with He-Man. So I get that. I mean, that's the whole part of this story, is her going off and saying, fuck you guys, you all knew, and you couldn't have just told me.
Right.
Maybe Dad didn't know, but, Mom certainly knew. The Master at Arms knew. Everybody knew except her. So, come on, guys, you told the cat.
Saying, like,
Even the cat knew. Even the cat fucking knew.
Cringer knew. Like,
So
right.
I mean, but
Right.
Cringer
And it's just
is
another
is,
thing
you know,
where it's like,
Cringer is his faithful steed. Oh,
oh, when he turns into the big cat, I was like, okay, that's dope. I didn't see that coming. I for sure didn't see that coming. I maybe should have, but I was just like, when he turned, he's like, oh, now it's your turn, Cringer, and I was like, oh shit, he's a beast now. Oh shit.
right.
I like the part where Robato's doing his thing. So he's like, pardon me, excuse me, that's gonna need medical attention.
Right.
I thought that was cute. And then Tila's weapon. I have a list here. I think I covered it all, but Tila's weapon turned into a shovel, a whip, a bow staff, a blade, a spear, and a grappling hook. That thing was amazing. It's like she had something for everything. It's like, what situation? What do I need right now? Got it.
I love the look of it when it went from staff to turning into a sword. You know, just that the flattening and the edging coming out, and just the sharp point coming out of the the way they did it, making it look all quick. You know, very Transformers. And I thought that was cool. I want one of those. Give me one of those.
Yeah, for sure. You saw this before me. So when you were like, oh, well, right where they ended it, I was just like, gah, and I was like, well, it can't be that bad. Sure enough, I found myself at the end going, oh, God, I know what he means now.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
What an ending. What an ending.
Yes.
Good ending to the shit where it's just, and it's, man, again, I knew that by them doing this whole thing that Skeletor was going to come back. Because I'm sitting there going, well, you can't bring He-Man back without bringing
You got
Skeletor
the head of the
back.
staff,
This is how this is going to
all
work.
this shit. Yeah.
Right. What I did not see coming was, boom, we got him back, and then boom, right through the chest. Where it's just like, yeah, I'll take that. Now I have the power. Like, oh.
The moment I heard
What?
when I heard Mark Hamill say that,
What?
you know, just now I have the power. I was just like, yes! Oh my God, the bad guy. This is the Empire
it
Strikes
definitely
Back
makes
of He-Man. You know,
It definitely makes up for the opening, which is like, I am Skeletor. Boom, hits right in the chest with.
gets that
Got hit right in the chest with
that
something.
very Joker
You know, and
getting
then-
hit by Batman sound.
The most Joker he sounds is when at one point he's talking to Evelyn. He's just like, "Oh my dear," and just like, "Oh look, he threw a little." That's what he would say to Harley Quinn
Right.
and shit. Other than that, I think he does a really and Mark Hamill was a good choice because again, I remember Skeletor talking like that. Yes, He-Man. So then to have a Skeletor, he's just like, "I am the master of this," and I'm just like, I dig this. I see why he was chosen. The only thing that's maybe sucks about it is Mark Hamill is such a visual actor when he goes into his voices. To put that on a character that just has a skeleton face, so you don't get to animate Mark Hamill's facial expressions and stuff, which are always really cool. So that's maybe the only downside. But other than that, I thought the casting was well done. I thought the story was well done. I think Kevin Smith, Mark Bernard did an amazing job, and they've kind of turned me into a little He-Man fan. I enjoyed this awful lot.
Oh yeah. Quickly, what I wanted to say was they got Alan Oppenheimer to play Mossman, and Alan Oppenheimer was the original Skeletor.
Nice.
So bringing him in to do a voice was, I thought, pretty damn cool. And there was a point where it made me think, wait a minute, did Mark Hamill also do the voice of Granny Goodness in the Superman cartoons? And I had to look it up, and it was Ed Asner. So at one point I just went, oh my God, so now Mark Hamill is so good that he can do an impression of Ed Asner doing Granny Goodness. Because there was points where he just brought it down so low. And that's what Ed Asner did with the one with Granny Goodness. Oh, my children, down here. Yes.
He rocks it in that in Superman Batman Apocalypse. He rocks it.
I don't even know if that's the same guy. See, that's that.
Yeah, it's him. That's Ed Asner.
Is it? Okay.
It's one thing DC does, man. They're good at if it's like if they were part of the animated kind of run. If they're going to make these movies, if they can get them, they're going to snatch them and say, hey, man. So we're doing this kind of big animated movie. It'd be great if we could bring it back along. And 9 times out of 10, people are like, yeah, sure.
And that's another thing about the art of this Masters of the Universe show. I could easily see that He-Man standing next to the recent New 52 style DC animated shows or movies that they brought out, those animated features. That I could see that He-Man standing next to that Superman. I could see that style of art kind of being able to blend easily. So, yeah, it did have that DC animated feel to it, along with a lot of the voices. So, yeah. I mean, overall, I thought this show was great. Not to get too much into detail, but right. I will say that right now there's a lot of people who are saying that that Kevin Smith is a liar and he has completely ruined He-Man. Because in this show about He-Man, there was hardly any He-Man. And when he said that it wasn't going to become the Tila show, he lied because it totally became the Tila show. And I went, it actually became the Everybody Else show. It was literally about everybody else. It was about Tila, yes, but it was also about her father, the robot dude. It was about everybody. It touched on everybody enough to the point where everybody was fleshed out enough for people who never seen it before. And it was enough to pull people in, and I just don't understand how people are saying that he ruined it, especially after watching an episode this morning. And again, not knocking that original show, but comparing it to what I just saw, and also, I mean, just original stuff. Like, okay, watching the original Super Friends show is a challenge. Watching the original, Batman animated shows and some of those, it's a challenge now because, yes, as a kid, you were a lot more easily entertained. But now I want to see other stuff. I want not just, gee, what's that over there? I should go and take a look. My goodness, it's Skeletor. Ha 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 ha. I'm gonna get you now. Oh, Skeletor, you better back off now. I want a little bit better voice acting. I want a little bit more action. I want a little bit more detail. So, I don't understand how he's ruined anything. If anything, I think that he's just added on to the lore, added on to the whole storyline, because it's a continuation. So, again, like I said last week, just because you enjoy something and something else comes out that is not the same thing that you enjoy, or it's something that has changed that thing that you enjoy, it does not make the things that you have read or seen or listened to or whatever it may be in the past suddenly go away. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon is there. You can buy it on DVD. I'm sure you can buy it on Blu-ray. You can find a bunch of episodes on YouTube. It will always be there. Go and watch that if you feel that this show has ruined He-Man. That makes no sense. I don't know what else to say. I enjoyed it. If anybody else enjoyed it, come along on the ship with me. But if you did not enjoy it, I don't know what to say.
I'll say 3 quick things about it because we should wrap up pretty soon.
Yes.
A lot of people shit on almost everything that Kevin Smith
does.
There's a lot of Kevin Smith hate in the world in general. So every time Kevin Smith comes out with something, it's bound to get shit on. Second thing, this show is not done.
No.
This was not a one and done thing. Like, this is the first part of a story that he's trying to tell. Him and Mark Bernardin. So if you didn't think you saw enough He-Man, you're probably going to get your fill of He-Man. Third, understand this. He-Man is a teenage boy. So unless he's running around being He-Man, he's probably not the most interesting character in his own show. There's not a lot of depth to him, really. Because he hasn't really lived life in general that long yet. So when he turns into He-Man, then, he's still, he's big and bold, but he's still Prince Adam. So, there's Tila who's dealing with like the father issues and this and that, and like there's Orca who's dealing with magic issues. There's Man-at-Arms who's dealing with his daughter issues. There's real dude issues people are dealing with. He-Man is dealing with, oh hey, I just got it. When there's trouble, well, let me just turn into the strongest dude in the universe and handle it. So I would say if you missed He-Man, then yeah, go watch the old stuff where he's just going around doing this. Like, this is character building, this is story developing.
Right.
It's called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man. So there's other characters and there's other things to explore inside the world.
Right. You know, at the same time, what they did was they made not only people who were not, you know, very knowledgeable in the He-Man lore, they made you want to see more He-Man. With what you had seen at the beginning, what you had seen through the flashbacks, it just makes you go, I can't wait till we get to see more of He-Man. And it also made people who hated the show want to see more He-Man. So if that was the goal, they've accomplished it 100%, whether it's bad reviews or good reviews. They also, by him sacrificing himself at the beginning to save everybody else, they did the same thing that they did for Superman back in the day, when basically Superman was so powerful and he was the strongest guy in the DC universe that everybody always expected him to come in and save the day. Same thing with the beginning of this episode. He came in, he saved the day, and everybody's like, oh, He-Man's here, we can do this now, everything's going to be just fine. And then he dies. So it just kind of shows you that, like, yeah, everybody was taking for granted He-Man. Everybody was taking for granted Superman. And what is it like without him? What do the people that, you know, everybody calls just side characters, what do they have to go through? And then you start to, I think what they're really kind of just pointing at, before we wrap this up, is that I think they're going to kind of lead to the fact that He-Man was, yes, He-Man. He was powerful. He was strong. He had the power of Grayskull. He had the sword. He could go into battle and he could fight and punch a giant frickin' hand and all these different things. But he still wasn't He-Man without everybody else. Without his family, without his army, without his whatever it was. Those people were what made him who he was, because he was fighting for them. He was fighting to protect them. He was inspired by their camaraderie, their love, and their conversations, everything. So I think it's going to get to the point where, because the swords have been split and they were put into one, there's that picture of He-Man holding the two swords. One looking kind of pink, one looking kind of yellow. I think it's going to get to the point where the power of Grayskull is going to be split between Teela and He-Man. And it's going to get to the point where it doesn't just have to be one person having the power. It's those who are worthy, kind of like the sword and the stone. And it gets to the point where instead of I have the power, we have the power. That type of stuff. So I know that can sound a little corny, but I think that's the direction they're going to go in. I think we're going to have He-Man. We're going to have Orko or Oracle, whatever you want to call him now, come back. Things are going to get fixed the right way. And we're going to have the He-Man that everybody wants. It's just that they wanted it right away. They wanted that first...
You can't rush greatness. Yes, Kevin Smith, Mark Bernard are storytellers, so...
I think if it was just nothing but He-Man the entire time, after a while it'd be like, okay, where's the suspense? Where's the story?
Right.
So I think they did good, and I can't wait to see part 2.
Sweet, man. What I think that's going to be, it seems like, as I am fond of saying, I guess that's the meat and potatoes of everything.
That is the meat, the potatoes, the peas, the carrots. That is the pearl onions and the crust that makes the entire pie.
What can the good folks look forward to from us next week, Justin?
Pure greatness.
What do we have on the docket?
I think... Yeah. I think that we should talk about a graphic novel, a series of comics, a story that I quite enjoy, and I've recently introduced to you.
Indeed.
Which was Kingdom Come. So, change of plans. We're actually going to talk about the Suicide Squad. We completely forgot it was going to be coming out. So, how does that sound to you, Akili?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
So, yeah, we'll do that.
Awesome, man.
And if you'd like to come along with us, folks, we'd love to have you.
Wonderful. As always, you can reach us if you have questions, comments, you want to tell us how good we are, how bad we are, or anything that we missed. You can always reach us on the Matinee Review at Gmail, Facebook, Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Buzzsprout. Still working on that Twitter. It's coming. I promise it's coming.
Instagram might happen as well.
We promise. We're getting there.
So
We're
much
getting there.
stuff happens in between.
So much stuff
as,
happening.
as I'm sure all of you have heard before, life happens. So
And life finds a way.
yes, when you are thinking about the matinee review, enjoy it, and don't forget to order your food from Cham Tams. Yes, I love their barbecue sauce. Very good, very garlicky.
Get old Chantan. I like you can just throw everything on the floor. You know, it's not just the peanuts. You can throw everything on the floor. I like the barbecue sauce fights. Things are great at Chantan.
Yeah, well, they just get a nice big hose and they just take it and they just spray it all down and they just throw more sawdust down on the ground. It's a wonderful place.
Good old Chantams.
Chantams.
Right on, everybody.
All right, guys.
I guess that's it for us, man.
Yeah.
Cool. And once again, I want to thank you because this doesn't happen without you, my friend. So thanks.
No, well,
Thanks,
then
brother.
I have to thank you as well because it doesn't happen without you. Because either way, we'd just be talking to ourselves if we decided to do a podcast on our own. And I mean, I guess we could do that,
But that's not fun. I mean, it's probably fun for some people, but it wouldn't be as fun. So
I enjoy talking to my friend as opposed to talking to a computer screen.
I shout into the void often enough. I can step out. I can step out of it and talk to my friend as well.
I shout into the backyard. I've had my neighbor complain about it already. It's great.
Cool. All right, y'all. Well, as always, stay safe, stay positive, love each other, and we will catch you on the next one.
That's right.
I'm Akili.
And I am Justin.
This is the Matinee Review. So long, everybody.
Take care.